What's going on, guys? Mickle here, and in this video, we're going to be covering some breaking news in the Ripple SEC case. Ripple has just responded to the SEC's 180 regarding their theory on William Hinman's free pass speech. We know earlier on in this trial, the SEC was saying the William Hinman free pass speech was all his personal opinion, but very recently has done a complete 180 on the issue and are now saying it was SEC guided. Ripple just filed their response to the court, and you guys need to see this. Multiple lawyers have already come out and are saying this is a takedown by Ripple and a huge win in their case against the SEC. I think you guys are going to love what Ripple has to say in this memo, and I think it's going to go a long way in helping Ripple win this case. You guys are definitely going to want to stick around for that. We also have some breaking news regarding a meeting between Brad Garlinghouse and Jay Clayton, in which the SEC explicitly said that XRP was not a security. We're going to be going over that decision in this video, so you guys are definitely going to want to see that. If you guys are new to this channel or come here all the time, make sure to like and subscribe. It does so much and helps support this channel for free and means so much to me. If you guys do not have an Uphold account already, make sure to sign up using the link in the description below. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, before we get into Ripple's latest filing in this case, and trust me, you guys are gonna want to see this, Ripple is absolutely blasting the SEC for the BS shenanigans they have been bringing to this case. They are in full-on attack mode, and I have already seen multiple lawyers coming out and saying that they think Ripple should win this motion hands down based on the response they brought today. Definitely stick around for that. But beforehand, I wanted to go over this. This has to do with the meeting between Elad Roisman, Brad Garlinghouse, and Jay Clayton, in which Elad Roisman specifically told Brad Garlinghouse that he did not believe XRP was a security. This motion is huge. Ripple is currently trying to get these notes because it is so obvious that if Elad Roisman was telling Brad Garlinghouse in this meeting that he did not believe XRP was a security, then Ripple or Brad Garlinghouse in no way should have ever thought that XRP could one day be declared a security. If the own commission and high-level commissioners at this commission were going out of their way to tell Ripple that they did not believe XRP was a security, well, that is clear-cut evidence to the court that XRP was never a security in the eyes of the SEC. Because if it was, the commissioners wouldn't tell Ripple that XRP was not a security. This is a massive issue for the SEC because this is their own commissioners specifically contradicting their entire case against Ripple. This is huge, but the reason why I wanted to bring this up, and I covered this extensively in my video yesterday, so make sure you guys check that out if you want to know more about this, but the reason this is so big is because actually Jeremy Hogan tweeted out today, he said, "I don't think the judge orders these notes to be produced." The SEC does a good job of laying out this argument in the first place, and I think the second and third arguments are particularly compelling. So you might read that and be like, oh, that stinks. Like, it would have been huge for Ripple to get these notes, but you need to consider two things that I think are critical, and that's really why I wanted to bring this up today. One, Ripple already knows what these notes said. Brad Garlinghouse was in the meeting, so he already has a very good idea of what was said. But more importantly, the court actually already has these notes. So the SEC has already been forced to hand over these notes to the court. So the court knows that the SEC commissioners were telling Brad Garlinghouse that they do not think XRP is a security. This goes such a long way when this case comes to summary judgment. If this case actually goes to summary judgment, and I think the SEC cannot let it get there because that is a huge liability for them, the court is going to see notes from the SEC telling Ripple that XRP was not a security. So this is so damning to the SEC, and I just wanted to point out that it's just important that despite the fact that Jeremy Hogan does not think Ripple is going to get these notes, the SEC has already seen them. Ripple knows what these notes said. So this was more of an extra precaution that Ripple is trying to take. For whatever reason, you always want to go farther than you have to in these court cases. Try to win on everything you possibly can. But either way, I just wanted to point out to you guys and make sure you guys knew the SEC has these notes. They are going to read through and see that the SEC commissioners were telling Ripple XRP is not a security. This is so damning for their case. I do not see how the SEC would dare to go to summary judgment, because the court is going to read this and say, yeah, so you're suing Ripple saying they should have known XRP was a security while you're telling them it's not a security. It doesn't make any sense. And that's why I am convinced that Ripple is actually the party who's been holding out, not wanting to settle this thing, because their case is so strong. I personally think that the SEC is actually the party who has likely probably wanted to settle this case for a while now, but Ripple's not coming to the table because they are destroying the SEC in this case. If the judge has these notes of the SEC telling Ripple they do not think XRP is a security, and then they have a lawsuit against Ripple for XRP being a security, then they do not want the judge to make this call. Let's keep moving though, and just some more notes on that. Another interesting thing from this motion that I didn't cover was the fact that the SEC is still trying to say that Brad Garlinghouse, when he was selling XRP, was acting in a way in which he had knowledge that the conduct was wrongful. And I thought this was just so ironic, because as Brad Garlinghouse is selling his XRP and the SEC is claiming that he knew he shouldn't have been doing this, the SEC is literally telling him XRP is not a security. The SEC is still legally allowed to trade XRP based on their own guidelines, and they're running an XRP validator on the network, proving that XRP fundamentally has utility and is not a security. It is so absurd that the SEC is trying to say that Brad Garlinghouse was knowingly doing the wrong thing when they didn't even have any guidelines to tell him he was doing the wrong thing. It is so crazy. And it is just so unfortunate that we have such a corrupt agency going after such an amazing American company. Don't worry, guys, it will end. We will be on the right side of this. But now it's time to get into Ripple's most recent filing in this SEC case. And this has to do with them addressing the SEC's 180 on William Hinman's free pass speech. So we know at first the SEC tried to say it was all Hinman's personal opinion because they were terrified that Ripple was going to go to the court and say Hinman said Ethereum was not a security, so we can compare XRP to Ethereum, and therefore, based on what Hinman said, XRP is also not a security. The SEC knew they couldn't argue this. It's impossible. They knew they couldn't argue that, so they tried to say, okay, it was Hinman's personal opinion, so therefore you cannot compare Ethereum to XRP. Well, now that left the SEC in another issue, because if it was his personal opinion, then why was he saying this? It was clearly guiding the market, and so that entitles Ripple to get emails regarding this speech, because if it was all William Hinman's personal opinion, well, you shouldn't have been doing this. So why was he going around saying this stuff? Ripple deserves those emails to see what was going on behind the scenes. So now the SEC is stuck in a position where they are flip-flopping between these issues because they don't want either scenario to play out. They want to just keep delaying this issue indefinitely until hopefully something happens that could save their case. I've said multiple times on this channel, the SEC's only weapon right now is time. No matter where they bring this case, the facts are against them. But if we jump in and see what Ripple has to say about this, there were some very interesting quotes. And I want to just go over this first paragraph because there are some bombs in this first paragraph. First, Ripple says the SEC's motion is an inappropriate attempt to do over simply because it is unhappy with the court's order in the prior briefing. So right here, right off the bat, we have Ripple calling out the SEC and saying, you didn't bring any new evidence to the table. You were just want a do-over because you know you were screwed in this scenario. The facts are against you, and now you're simply trying to refile and change your opinion on this speech because you know it's going to hurt you really badly if the order goes through like this. They say the SEC makes no pretense that demanding a standard for reconsideration is satisfied here, essentially saying they haven't said anything on why there would be any substance for them to change their mind. The facts are the facts, and it was already settled by the court that this was Hinman's personal opinion. The court said that. So why are they trying to do a 180 if the facts never changed? Instead, it seeks to yet again brief an issue that has been extensively litigated for a year now, but this time based on a new theory in a reversal of course. Why is the SEC, or why should the SEC be allowed to keep arguing the same issue that has been ruled on again and again, and simply the SEC, changing the facts based on the court's decisions that have already been made? Ripple is trying to say that if the SEC brought this case against Ripple and had this whole theory on why Ripple was breaking the law, how is it that they are constantly changing their position throughout the entire case? This is something you would expect from the party who is in the wrong, the party who's trying to change the facts to make it fit their story. The SEC is clearly in the wrong here, because if they weren't, they would just tell the facts as they are. The fact that they're constantly switching their argument, and Ripple points this out, it shows that they do not have a clear theory of what their case even is. I want to keep scrolling through here, and thing's a little long, so it might take me a second to find this, but also Ripple also brings up the library case, and if you guys remember the video I did on that, Ripple specifically says, so after, and I talked about this enough, the SEC did their double flip-flop, Hinman's personal opinion to SEC guided. Now they're going into another case after they said this speech was SEC guided, and in this other case they're saying it's back to Hinman's personal opinion. So now we're at a triple flip-flop. The SEC does not want to take any responsibility for the things it said, and this is not providing the market with guidance. And if we keep going, there's one more thing at the end here I wanted to show you, and oh, it says right here, the stakes of this litigation are simply too high to permit the SEC to stand on the DPP to avoid producing prohibitive evidence while maintaining optionality as to whether the process at issue and in its accumulation reflected agency policy at all. So what Ripple is saying here, they're saying this lawsuit is way too important for the SEC to constantly be flip-flopping on some of the most key points in this lawsuit. They're essentially telling the court the fact that the SEC cannot make up their mind about this critical issue is essentially proving Ripple's whole point, in which they were never given fair notice on what the heck was going on in the crypto market. This is a smackdown, and as we can see right here from Fred, he's a lawyer I follow, he says an absolute takedown by Ripple. Only reason for Judge Netburn to agree with the SEC would be political. Hopefully she denies this motion next week, then cue the SEC appeal to Judge Torres. The SEC loses there, and that would would be the first real likelihood of a settlement. So this is huge. He thinks right here that this issue could lead to a settlement, and that is because he believes that the SEC will likely lose this motion because the merits, they're just not on their side. So Judge Netburn denies it. They appeal it to Judge Torres. Judge Torres denies it, and at that point they are stuck. They are going to have to hand over the emails or compare XRP to Ethereum. They can't do either of those. Both of them would be incriminating to the SEC and prove that their case against XRP was nothing short of an attack on the ecosystem for whatever reason they decide to launch this BS case. So Fred believes this could be our first massive point in which this case could be settled. Now, I do not know whether or not the SEC would have to hand Ripple a package that was good enough for them not to take this case as summary judgment. As I talked about earlier, Ripple has a very strong case right now, so the SEC is going to have to make a very compelling argument for Ripple to settle this thing. Another great line from this document, the SEC seems to argue that the speech would fall within an administrative twilight zone, essentially saying the SEC does not want to, there's two scenarios, either SEC guided or Hinman's personal opinion. The SEC now wants it to be neither of them because they know they can't win this case almost no matter what this speech ends up being. No matter what, it incriminates the SEC to such a high degree that their only option right now is just to keep delaying. No matter what gets ruled on, unless the SEC is just held to no responsibility, as long as they are held within fair rules of any normal agency, this Ethereum free pass speech is going to completely screw over their case against XRP. Wanted to finish off this video by this tweet by Bill because I think it really well described the absurd nature of what the SEC is doing here, and it has to do with the fact that they are currently litigating this case in a method where they are trying to win at any cost. They're not trying to be a responsible regulator, they're not looking out for the retail investor, and they're not lawyering this case in an ethical manner. They are doing whatever it takes to win, whether it's lying, whether it's changing the facts, whether it's simply delaying because they know they don't have the merits behind them, they are doing anything they can to win, completely regardless of whether it's right or wrong. It is so disgusting to see this out of an agency that's supposed to be looking out for us. That is clearly not their motive here, and that's kind of the most upsetting thing about everything here. This has nothing to do with Ripple being a bad company. This has nothing to do with Ripple doing anything wrong. This is a straight up power move by the SEC, and it sucks that we were dragged into this, but let me tell you guys, we will be on the right side of this. We are going to win this thing because the facts and the law are on our side. Thank you guys so much for coming. Make sure to like and subscribe. It means so much and helps this channel grow. For now, Mickle out.